In the last lecture, we have stopped with this slide, that is how many different fundamental objectives of the research. And we have seen that there are theoretical objectives, factual objectives, and application objectives. Theoretical objectives, which aim to formulate new theories, factual objectives, which aim to find out new facts, and application objectives, which does not contribute a new knowledge, but it contributes towards new applications. So in the next slide, we are going to see now what are the different motivations in the research. Means why people or students are more interested in the research. So first is the basic importance. We are going to see that what is the basic importance of research. First, many of you or many of people are desire to get a research degree. And definitely, if you are having higher degree, you will get paid more. So your salary will be more. Salary benefits will be there. And for that, many people want to take the research degree, that is PhD. Now, another is many of them are having just a nature that they want to face the challenges. So they like to solve unsolved problems. And for that, they do PhD or they do research. Then there are some who have who are very intellectual and very much interested to take or to get intellectual joy and do some more creative work. So for that, they do PhD. Then there are few who want to serve to the society, and that is the sole purpose for which they do the research. And there are few which get which think or they have this in their mind that if you get these higher degrees, you will get the respect. So respectability is one of the aspects. Now the list is actually exhaustive and lot many other things are also there. Then few of them or few people do PhD because it is directives of government or employment conditions. For example, if you want to become a scientist, for that it is necessary that you have to have a PhD degree so that you can join some national institute, right? And then only you can get appointed there as a scientist. So this is the eligibility criteria, that you must have a PhD degree. Then next is curiosity about the new thing. Few people, they have uh, other aspects, but they want to just fulfill their curiosity. They just want to find out new things, and for that they do PhD. Then another are there are few group of people who want to understand the relationship between different matters. They are more interested in that. So for that they do research. Social thinking and awakening, we have already seen that some of them, they would just want to serve the society, so they do the research. And some of them, they just like the research work, and for that they do the research. So these are the few motivational factors which uh, actually plays important role, that why people do research. Then these are the general characteristics of good research. Now, how you will define a good research? This all is gathered from different definitions of research. And this is what is, you can say, the summary, that which gives that these are the good characteristics from different books. So mainly, a good research will give you new knowledge and a new data, right? Then, and it is a first-hand source, that is a very reliable first-hand source where you are getting a proper knowledge, the correct knowledge, the honest knowledge, the true knowledge, right? Then if your research is good, the mainly good research is emphasizing upon the discovery of general principle. So one general principle is there on which more deep discovery is done. And that is what is the main emphasis of the good research. Then always the good research must get conducted in a very systematic and systematic way, and definitely it will give you accurate investigation. Then whatever data is getting collected by the good research must be valid data. It must be true data, right? Every time whenever a good research is there, it is always having some logic, and it is exact in the sense whatever result you are going to get, or getting gathered by doing good research, is always giving to you as a uh, correct or perfect solution, or correct or perfect conclusion of whatever data, because you are going to gather a lot of data, and accordingly you are going to analysis it. So when you are gathering something, you are analyzing it very critically. Whatever findings you're going to get, it is always exact, always. So that if good research is there, whatever finding you are getting is always correct and accurate. Then good research eliminates personal feeling and preferences. For example, I'm doing research on corona virus, for example, I'm giving, and I want that whatever medicine I have prepared, it must affect on the virus and it should kill the virus. I did a lot of experiment. I prepared that particular medicine, and now I'm taking the clinical trials and I'm getting the results that no, it's not the way. Instead of it is killing coronavirus, the patient is getting affected more side effects are there. Then I should not get personally hurt, because whenever I want a result in this way, but I'm not getting. So what is needed here, that I need to change my strategy. I need to change my plan. I need to change the medicine. I have to find out that what type of side effect this particular uh, medicine is giving, why it is not working on that coronavirus, instead of getting depressed. So personal feelings and preferences should not be there. What is the fact, that has to be get focused, and always in good research that is preferred. Then research is a very patient activity. It is unhurried activity. You cannot do any research, any deep, good, critical research in a very short time. You cannot do that. You have to give that particular time. You need to do lot many experiments, and then only you can come to some final conclusion with lot of data analysis. So it all requires time. You cannot finish your PhD within 1 year, or you just cannot finish your PhD within 6 months, or you cannot finish your uh, a very solid uh, research within 1 or 2 months. It is just impossible. Minimum 4-6 months means for your MA, MSc or MCom project, at least 4 to 6 months you have to give. And then you can get some solid solution for whatever problem you're working on. So this is research is, you cannot do it hurriedly. You cannot just finish it, take the degree and go. It won't help you. So always research has to be done unhurriedly and very patiently, because many a time you will not get the result. You have to find out some another solution, and then you will start getting results. So you need to do lot of trial and error experiments, and it requires patience. So that's why research is a very patient activity. Then research is a good research is carefully recorded and reported. So whenever a scientist is doing a research correctly, he will record all the results very carefully, and accordingly he will analyze the data very clearly, and he will report it very carefully, right? And thus it indicates that whatever research is done is very carefully done. It is reported properly in a very scientific way, and thus you can come to the conclusion that this particular research is a good research, right? Then whatever conclusions you are arriving at the end of your research problem, they must be drawn very carefully and very cautiously, because that particular conclusion is going to get published. Of course, I'm considering that at the end of your research project, you're going to do some publication. So when it is getting published, it is getting published worldwide. So whatever statement or whatever conclusions you are telling or you are going to conclude or publish, it should be done very carefully, because according to that, based on that, many other scientists are going to do further research. So always you need to take that precaution. Then what is the criteria of good research? Now, the criteria of good research, there are some qualities which we are going to see that those come under the good research. One is good research is systematic. Now, what is the meaning of systematic? Whenever a good research is done, a proper rules or you can say the proper steps are getting followed. For example, if you want to do research, first you need to do what? You need to do or you need to search a proper research problem, right? Which is not having yet any solution and you are trying to find out some solution. So based on the problem, next step you have to propose the hypothesis that this problem I'm going to solve in this way, or this is the solution for this particular problem. This is your hypothesis. After that, you need to make the outline. What you will do first, you have to do literature survey. You have to find out in-depth knowledge about that problem. Find out that how many research papers are there, study them very thoroughly, find out how much work is done in this particular area, because always literature survey is the backbone of research. So you need to find out everything about whatever problem you have taken by doing literature work or referencing, you can say. After that, you get, when you are doing referencing, you will get a lot of information that in that, what is there in that, what is the depth of that particular problem and how many solutions are available and what you thought, is that solution available or not? If not, then how you will go for your particular solution to achieve. So for that, you need to find out some experimental result, or you need to collect a lot of data, then analyze that data, do result analysis, and then finally you're going to go to the conclusion. So if you're going to do research in this particular way, this research is called as systematic research, and this is a good criteria to do research. First criteria, you can say, to do good research. The next, good research, what is the quality? Another quality of good research is it should be a logical thing. Logical in the sense, the research must be guided by the rules and logical reasoning and logical processes. Sorry. Now, these logical reasoning or logical processes can be divided into two parts. Like one is inductive reasoning and another is deductive reasoning. Now, what is inductive reasoning? It is when you start with specific observation or facts and infer a general rule or conclusion from them. So you have to do the observation, you observe it repeatedly, and then you come to some firm conclusion. For example, if you notice that every time you eat spicy food, you get stomachache. Now, this is your observation about yourself. So you repeatedly observe it, and at the end, you come to inductive reasoning, and what you will conclude that spicy food causes stomachache. So this is general conclusion you drawn. This is called as inductive reasoning. Now, another one is deductive reasoning. Now, deductive reasoning is a logical process that involves drawing a specific conclusion based on general principle or premises. So, for example, premise one is all animals have lungs. This is premise one. Now, premise two is dolphins are mammals, right? And what will be the conclusion of mine is dolphins have lungs. So what is there in this example? Now, in this example, the first premise is that is all mammals have lungs is a general principle that all mammals are having lungs, right? Then the second premise, which is identifying dolphin. Now, this is a specific mammal, right? So, one is general principle, another is specific principle, and by using both of them, the deductive reasoning is what? Or logically, you can say. Deductive reasoning is logical reasoning always. So we can logically conclude that, or I have logically concluded that dolphins must have lungs because dolphin is a mammal, right? So this is what is the difference between inductive reasoning and logical reasoning. So always research should go with the logical reasoning and logical process. So if the research is done in that way, it is a good research. Then good research is always replicable. In the sense, if I have done one experiment here, or forget about the experiment, I have collected some data about the antibiotic resistant microorganism. So whatever data I have collected and whatever result I'm getting, if somebody else repeats it in another country with the same strain, that person must get the similar result. So whenever the research is done repeatedly, so many times, the experiments or the data is analyzed very carefully so many times, it will definitely give the same result. So that type of result is called as verifiable results or verifiable results, and or you can say replicable results. So if your whatever research you have done, if it is giving the results exactly in the same way you did to other persons also, that means your research is very good and it is replicable. Then we're going to see types of research, and we are also going to see the comparison between these types of research. So first type is description versus analytical. In the sense, descriptive research versus analytical research. Now, first we need to know what is descriptive research. Descriptive research is actually the research which provides a comprehensive and accurate picture of the population or phenomenon which is under the study, and it describes relationship patterns and traits that exist within that data. So most of the time whenever descriptive research is there, it is always done either on people, group of people, or on a particular phenomena. So whenever this type of research, if you are doing this type of research, it means you are doing descriptive research. Now, for example, a supermarket, I mean, uh, a researcher want to study the customer and the relationship between customer and purchase trends. So what the researcher can do in a supermarket, researcher can fit Affer monitor. Affer monitor is a real-time vision-based activity monitor that the particular research that the researcher can fix it in a supermarket and track the consumer customers selection and purchasing trends. So what a particular what type of customers are there which are visiting the supermarket, and what generally they are purchasing. So what is their purchase trade that the researcher can study. So it is focused on a group of people, right? And what they are doing, the phenomenon, right? Trade, what they are doing. So if that kind of research is there, which is called as descriptive research. Now, descriptive versus analytical. Now, what is analytical research? Analytical research is a specific type of research which involves critical thinking, skills, and evaluation of the facts and information which is relative to the research being conducted. So, always whenever critical thinking is there and evaluation of fact is there, analytical research is there, and always analytical research is having a lot of importance. Now, variety of people such as student, doctors, psychologists use this analytical research during their studies because they need to find out the relevant information. They need to analyze whatever data they has, and they try to find out, suppose a drug is given to a group of people, what happens to that those peoples, whether those peoples are getting cured with that drug or not, right? So that is, they need that information. Accordingly, they are going to decide, the doctor is going to decide the line of treatment. So for that, it is important. So thus, it is used even by psychologists and doctors. Even there are many basic researchers or scientists who are working on application oriented research. They also need to analyze the data. So they are also doing some analytical research. Now, example of this analytical research is mostly that they are having the questions that why and how that particular thing has happened and why it has happened. Those questions are getting answered generally in analytical research. So example is, if a researcher can explore why the value of Japanese yen has fallen. Now, why is there? So it means it has to find out why this has happened. What factors are responsible for that? And whatever data is getting generated, it will get analyzed, and the researcher can then tell that this is these are the reasons because of this Japanese yen has fallen. Now, both the descriptive and analytical research serves a key role in statistics and data analysis, because without that, rather without statistics and data analysis, analytical research cannot be done. So the difference, if we want to see between descriptive research and analytical research, descriptive research describes something, and analytical research asks or try to find out how that something came to be. This एखादी गोष्ट काहीतरी आहे, this has happened because of this, right? But this is what is called as descriptive research. But in analytical research, why this has happened, who did it, how it has happened, all these questions are getting answered. Now, when you're doing such type of research, it is called as analytical research. Now, we will see the example. Now, in case of analytical research and descriptive research, we are going to see the example of both. So, for example, take number of numbers on the changing trade deficits between United States and rest of the world in 2015 to 2018. Now, this is a descriptive research, because what it is going to tell you, it is going to tell you trade deficit between those particular years in US, right? Now, only this, that this for this year, this trade is this much, for this year, this trade is this much. If only this you are studying, it is called as descriptive research. But when it goes to the analytical research, if you will do on the same topic, it will measure something else, because it will find out why and how the trade deficit had changed. So the reasoning behind it, it has changed. Descriptive research will give you the reason that yes, this had happened, it had changed. But now analytical research will give you more details about it, that how and why it has changed. So, of course, to do that, special statistical controls need to be there. And when you look at the descriptive research, it will give you one line conclusion that yes, that in this year, in between 2015 to 2018, in year 2017, there is trade deficit, right? But why this happened, you are going to know because of analytical research. So always analytical research is giving you additional information and the correct information, because it will analyze everything and it will give you more depth of the knowledge for that particular problem. So always analytical research is having more importance. Now, another example we can see for the same. Suppose my research is focused on helping disabled people. So if a descriptive type of research I'm doing, what I will do, how many disabled people face social isolation? Now, if this is the scenario, किती लोकांना social isolation फेस करावं लागतं because of their disability. Now, in case of analytical research, instead of asking how, I will ask the question that what causes social isolation in disabled people? असं का घडलं? Exactly, I know that the people are socially disabled, but what is the exact reason that they are getting socially isolated? Then in descriptive research, I will ask the question that what is unemployment rate for disabled people? If people are disabled, what is unemployment rate? Is their rate is more or less? But if I want to do analytical research, the question I have to ask is, why do disabled people have a harder time finding a job? They are having harder time. It's known. But why? What are the reasons? How you can solve that problem, right? That can be focused in analytical research. Now, in descriptive research, how many siblings of people with Down syndrome have positive experiences? But if I want to work on the same problem in the analytical research way, then I have to ask the question in such a way that why do so many siblings of people with Down syndrome have positive experiences? So this is the major difference between the descriptive and analytical research. Now, both descriptive and analytical research has to be done very carefully, that you cannot take every survey as a research or as a correct research, or you cannot count every survey as a proof, right? So the survey, if you're collecting some data under the descriptive or even analytical research, it need to be done very carefully. So you need to follow some best practices so that you are sure that whatever data you are collecting is up to the mark and excellent or a good data you are going to get collected. So if we compare between these two, always the analytical research is better. And as I said, many students, psychologists, marketers find analytical research more useful. If a company, even a company wants to do some research, then they always focus on analytical research because it helps always to figure out something. For example, uh, it helps figure out which ad campaigns work best, or it also helps that which in medicine, if we take the example, it finds out whether a given treatment works well or not. As I said, if you are giving a treatment to a particular group of people, then whether that particular medicine is working properly or not, you can analyze it and then only you can go to the conclusion. With the general statement that this medicine works good, it won't really work in the field of medicine. So thus the analytical research can save lives, save money. It can help people to meet their goals. So always analytical research has more importance than descriptive. But it doesn't mean that you should not go for descriptive research. Then applied versus fundamental research. So now what is the difference between applied and fundamental research? It is very important now to know this. It is very important to know first that what is applied research and what is fundamental research. Fundamental means basic research. Now, applied research is a kind of scientific research that focuses on solving real world issues. Applied research is critical in finding solution to the difficulties we face daily. So mostly it is application based. That's why it is called as applied research. Then especially when this applied research is specially used or gives solution for our personal solutions on our personal lives, career, or health. Now, this sort of study may be applied in several ways. So, applied, basically, the word itself is telling you that there should be some application of that research, must have, right? It is not the same for fundamental research. It is the basic research. Every time there is no such situation that whatever research, the basic research you did, it will have some application. So, for example, the primary goal of basic research is to just answer the questions such as why, what, and how. So, for example, why water becomes colorful when you add color in the same. So this is just your curiosity. This is just your eagerness that you want to find out, if I mix red color into the water becomes red. Why this is happening, right? But does it has any application? No, it is not having any application as such. But if I'm doing some applied research, then in that case, suppose a particular medicine is there, right? And I want to find out whether that particular medicine is known to do some good job in case of Alzheimer disease, right? But I want to know whether that same medicine or any another medicine can be given with that Alzheimer uh, and to that Alzheimer patient, which can cure some other stomach issues. So some another application, I'm trying to find it out, right? So in case of application is the main target. In case of basic, it is not necessary that each and every research will have some application always. So applied research is more practical than theoretical research. And on the other hand, basic research may assist in the development of the hypothesis and prediction. So it will add some new value to the knowledge, but it is necessarily not important that it will uh, have some application always. So we will see some examples of application results. That is, for example, investigating methods of in teaching high school graduate to continue their education once they graduate. So this is an example of applied research, because whatever conclusion going to get concluded, that it will help, that are there different methods which can actually help the graduate student to continue their education, right? So some application, or you can say that in our college, blind student are actually some software is defined, and students are trying to help them, that blind students generally need um, some writer when they are writing the paper. So our few students are trying to find out they don't need the writer. They will just speak, and whatever they are speaking, accordingly, their paper will get written. So this is a type of applied research. Or you can say the social media fraud. It is again the applied type of research. Then in-depth research on how to extend life of automobile tires, right? Then this is also another example of applied research. Now, the next is conceptual versus empirical type of research. Now, conceptual, we will first see now, an example of empirical analysis would be if a researcher was interested in finding out whether listening to happy music promotes pro-social behavior. So the experiment should be conducted where one group of the audience is exposed to the happy music, and you can also find out happy music, sad music. So, and the other is not exposed to the music at all, or one another group is exposed to the sad music, and try to find out whether it is promoting to the social behavior, which one is actually responsible to promote the social behavior. So when this is happening, it is called as empirical analysis. And when conceptual research is there, generally philosophers have a long used conceptual research, have a long used the conceptual research to develop new theories. So it is not always necessary in case of conceptual research that you have to do the practical experiment in the lab, but you have to develop theories just even by imagination, and or interpret existing theories in a different light. So for example, Copernicus used conceptual research to come up with the concepts about stellar constellations based on his observation of the universe. So he has not done any experiment in a space or something, but he just developed that concept with the imagination. But the concept what he has developed is correct and accurate. So it is based on the logical thinking. Another example is Einstein is there. So Einstein is always considered as the best example of conceptual researcher, but his theories on experimental observation and proposed experiments, real and real, means they prove real, and thought which would test his hypothesis. So whatever he did, he actually not done any single experiment, but by just sitting and imagining just the whole universe, he could able to give the theory of E is equal to mc square. So that is completely based on the conceptual. On the other hand, Edison is there, Thomas Edison, who is considered to as that empirical research example, because he did so many trials and errors, and finally he could able to find out the correct solution. So as I given you the example of 999 experiment and 1001 got succeed. So that was the type of empirical research. Now there are many other types of research too. That is, some are historical research, where generally the historical sources are utilized and documented, and on that basis some conclusions, which some evidences are there, and on that basis some conclusion are drawn that in history this might have happened. So for example of historical research, I can give that a study of primary and secondary sources, such as historical documents and archives, in researching an event from the past. So whatever event has been done from the past, whatever history is available, on that they can do the research, analyze it again and again, and find some solutions. Now another type of research which is generally done, that is called as conclusive research, which has